With concussions becoming more and more of a hot topic recently and people becoming more aware of its impact, how has that changed the way the team is practiced?
Oh, you have to be very safe, very careful. You have to, number one, work very closely with your athletic trainers because obviously they go attend workshops and professional development seminars and make sure that we go through all the protocol when it comes to anything dealing with concussions. One great example is that from the NCAA, one of the things we're trying to do as a coaching association to prevent it is to make sure there's less tackling, in practice. So we've decided to have one tackling day, for example, opposed to back in the day, you used to have 2 to 3 tackling days. And what is the definition of tackling by the NCAA? It's taken to the ground. So we still can have thud, you can thud up, but for the most part, now there's only one true tackling day that we have the kids take the other opponent player to the ground. The other thing we do is make sure when they get here during preseason, they go through a series of tests, with our athletic trainers, and I'm sure our head athletic trainer could explain that in more detail, but he works with us and provides reports to the coaches if someone had a previous concussion in high school or at the youth level, we at least have some idea. For example, another example, probably the best example to give you is our starting fullback, Connor Conatico, who did not play this past week, which we really needed him. So he was complaining that he had a couple headaches earlier during the week, but he went to our trainer on Wednesday. Automatically, that's a 5-day protocol. So he missed the game. And if he went to the trainer maybe on a Sunday or Monday and went through the 5-day protocol, would go through a balance test, then maybe he would have played. And that probably would have helped us a little bit in terms of going up against Rowan. But we're very careful. And, we want to make sure that, first of all, that our kids are safe no matter what. And I don't know if I'm getting to your other questions or not, but we have committed ourselves to the youth organizations to make sure they understand the importance of proper tackling and preventing head injuries.
So that was going into one of my questions. I was asking what the concussion protocol is. So you said 5 days?
5 days automatic.
Okay. And what would you say is being done to limit the amount of injuries in practice?
And again, I'm going to start at the youth level, number one. I think it's very important. Each summer, we as a coaching staff, we go to the Salvation Army, we work with Fruitland Falcons, and we have little clinics, talk to the coaches about the importance of preventing head injuries. One of the best tackling techniques that's being used, which I'm old school, I'm blue collar guy, so I'm not caught up in this yet, but we actually use as an example is what we call rugby tackling. Actually, the rugby technique is the best tackling technique. So what rugby tackling does is provide you to make sure that you are at waist level and below. So there's no head contact at all. So one of the best examples would be the Seattle Seahawks NFL team. Online, you can Google Seattle Seahawks rugby tackling, and he'll go through all the technique. And that's what we do. And Dan Quinn, who was a defensive coordinator at Seattle, who's now at Atlanta Falcons, we use that same tackling technique to this day with our defense.
And how has the equipment improved over the years? Like, are you guys using new helmets, new equipment?
That's a great question. My budget would explain to you that it's new helmets and new equipment. We use the same helmets as Notre Dame. There's no such thing as Division I, Division II, Division III equipment. They're all the same. And we ordered the top of the line. One of the most popular helmets that we use is what we call the Revolution by Rydell. The Speed Revolution helmet is a big deal to us. And the kids love them. And you can put air in it just to kind of make you comfortable to decrease any type of impact. So we have expensive helmets, and we're teaching tackling below the shoulders. So with those things, along with the youth programs, along with the proper equipment and the prevention measures that we use on the field, if anyone gets a concussion, it's pretty much they haven't done one of the three. that we emphasize throughout the season.
And how would you say the practices have, how have they evolved over the years?
Oh, well, I tell you, obviously it took a while to make that transition as far as trying to keep head injuries out of the game. But I'm really proud. I mean, we have gone far and beyond to make sure that we minimize. And to be honest with you, I'm not a all-out tackling type of coach. I think it's important to be in a certain position. Position yourself before you even make a play. And if you position yourself and taking care of the proper and doing the proper techniques, you'll prevent a lot of injuries, whether it's in the head or whether it's in the foot, it doesn't matter. You'll prevent a lot of injuries. So I'm proud of our game. I'm proud of where we come from and where we're going. Even the NFL are making drastic changes. They actually now they're taking 2 days off from practice, and they only have a couple days of contact. And if you attend an NFL practice, you won't even see that at all. But there's probably still room for improvement. I will say that. But for the most part, we're really football, the Coaches Association, we're really working hard to make sure everyone understands that we want everyone safe as well.